Hello, and welcome to the Pork and Knuckle Show, where we take a bite out of the movies, literally.
Oh, yes.
This month is Jaws, biting galore, and we have a fact battle. Porky, you go first.
Biting the law is actually interesting because the shark was named Bruce after the lawyer of Steven Spielberg. But that's not even a fact that I have written down. It just sprung into my mind when you mentioned the lawyer thing. My first fact is actually that author Peter Benchley, do you know that the whole Jaws franchise is based purely on incompetence? Peter Benchley said that if he had known how sharks actually behave, he would never have even written the book.
Great. So my first fact, the shark is called Bruce after Spielberg's lawyer.
Where did you get that idea? Speaking of jokes, apart from you, there is another one. On the DVD of Jaws 2, there is a special called The French Joke, because in French, the first movie is literally called The Teeth of the Sea, which in French is called Les Dents de la Mer. And if you add the 2 to this, it would be called The Dents de la Mer 2. And mer de sounds a little bit like merde, the French word for shit. So the second movie was close to being called The Teeth of the Shit in France.
Wonderful, wonderful. Speaking of practical jokes, I think it was Spielberg who invited George Lucas, Sarkozy, and Millinus. And they were messing around with the robotic shark. Spielberg got the controls when Lucas put his head inside the jaws and he snapped shut, and then the robot malfunctioned. They went into a panic mode and they had to break the jaws, and then they left the scene and tried to hide this fact, and like nobody knew about it. They came in the next, oh, what happened there? And yeah,
what happened
that
there?
was it.
Our most important prop is broken. How could that have happened? Speaking of broken things, the Jaws 3, or Jaws 3D, actually was never really supposed to be a sequel to the Jaws franchise. It was supposed to be a literal parody. And the first title for the third movie was National Lampoon's Jaws 3 People Zero. But Spielberg rejected this idea and threatened to walk away from his picture deal with Universal if this were to ever happen. And so Richard D. Zanuck and David Brown, the producers of the first two films who came up with this stupid idea, they left the studio. But the funniest thing is, if this film were to actually be made as National Lampoon's Jaws 3, Joey Dante was supposed to direct the film, which could be really interesting.
3 years later, my third fact, Quint's boat, the Orca. Now, that boat sank and all of the footage in the camera was lost. They had to send it to a lab in New York to rescue the day's footage because the boat sank. Well, obviously, that's going to happen. So, third fact, the boat sank.
I remember reading about this, and then someone was actually to say while the boat was sinking, screw the actors, save the audio department, holding up the cassette recorder like this, so no, this cannot get lost. But my fourth fact is actually about the second movie, and something that actor Mark Gilpin, who played Sean Brody, said. There was one day when they were shooting this makeshift raft of wrecked yachts scene, and they were actually circled by real-life hammerhead sharks.
Wow.
And they were freaking scared and started yelling and started screaming. The camera crew, who was set up like a few meters away from them, very far away to get the long distance shot, they didn't know about the sharks, so actually thought they were acting, giving them the thumbs up, cheering them, yes, you're doing a great job, but they were actually screaming for their lives.
4 years later, and the fourth fact, when the principal filming wrapped, Spielberg was not happy with the ending. So what he did was he went into Werner Field's backyard swimming pool and hired a small crew. They did the filming scene again, but to make the water murky, they put milk inside the swimming pool. That's the fourth fact.
That's cool.
Milk in the pool.
I think one of the coolest things that I've ever read about any film ever is, did you know that Steven Spielberg wasn't even supposed to direct the first film? The original director of the film was called Dick Richards, who was fired after one meeting with executives and producers because he said that he envisions the start of the film like this. You have the shot of the town, and then you see the whale coming out of the water, and the studio executive said, like,
it's a shock for me.
we're not gonna work with someone who doesn't know the difference between sharks and whales, which is whale. So this thing blew whale out of proportion.
I'm gonna move on swiftly to the fifth one. So, Spielberg really wanted to make and direct Bond films. And if you actually see in one of the opening scenes, the number plate is 007 and Louisiana 73. This is a reference to him wanting to direct Bond movies. And he's so desperate, he even put it in the movie. That's the fifth fact. We're done.
That is great, and that's
That is
everything
great.
we have time for today. So please tell us in the comments which of our facts you liked the most, and if you have more facts about the Jaws franchise, please drop them in the comment section below. If you liked the whatever this was that we just did, please don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Hit that bell. Ding, to make sure you're notified whenever we put up more crap like this. So this was it for today, guys, and we will see you guys again on the next Pork and Knuckle Show.
Take care.